I was heartbroken to find out that my PC won't run the newly released Monster Hunter Wilds, so I decided to make my own monster hunting game that won't melt my graphics card. To make sure I didn't divert too much of my time and attention from my main project, Relics of Aurelia, I gave myself a 24-hour time limit. I thought about the Venn diagram of features that need to be in a monster hunting game, and also the functionality that I can make in 24 hours, and surprisingly enough, there was a decent chunk of it that I was able to get done. I'll show you the game and what I got done, then break down how I got there afterwards once you have the context. This is Big Blade, a turn-based monster hunting game where you collect resources, craft items, armor, and swords, fight monsters, and use their parts to make better items, nicer armor, and bigger swords. There are 3 semi-distinct regions: the beach, the forest, and the mountaintop. Each region is home to a couple easy monsters, a sort of mid-tier monster, and an apex monster. There's even a bonus super boss, making for 13 monsters total. The easy monsters mostly just use physical attacks or sometimes get distracted and dance around a bit, but the others, they can use magical attacks and cause status effects, so it's a good idea to craft and equip gear and use items according to your next goal. Each monster has 2 common materials it will drop upon defeat, and 1 rare material. These can be combined to create body armor, a helmet, or a big sword. Each region has a flower, a mushroom, and 2 different types of ore that are unique to it and can be used to craft health potions, temporary buffs, and status cures. While the weaker monsters drop parts that can be made into gear with some passive traits or magic resist, swords and chest pieces made from Apex monster parts come with an active skill you can use while they're equipped. Lastly, helmets made from the Apex monster parts come with different types of status prevention, like immunity to poison. If you'd prefer to use the skill on a piece of equipment rather than the equipment itself, you can combine that equipment with some other materials to craft a skill gem that will permanently teach you the skill. Your starting options in battle are as follows: a 0-cost regular attack for a small amount of damage, a heavy attack that costs 10 MP, meditation, which will regain 15 MP but only in battle, or you can guard, which will increase your defense for the turn and regain 5 HP. Once you're getting low on HP and MP, it might be a good idea to escape from battle and head back to your beach shack and rest up for the next day of hunting. Just don't forget to pet pup. I spent about 4 hours planning, another 4 hours playtesting, and about 16 on the tools, as I would build and test a bit as I went. If I were to do this again, I'd tighten the scope a bit and save more time for playtesting. I did think it was important to have at least 3 tiers of monsters and gear though, because I wanted to see how tight I could make the progression in terms of system design with the allotted 24-hour time limit. Turns out though, it's not very tight. I've since retooled some monster HP numbers, increased drop rates, and fixed a bug where helmets were unable to be crafted. Jeez, how did that get through? The 24-hour version of the demo is playable, but it's quite grindy and punishing since you don't have access to essentially 1/3 of the gear you're supposed to have. By far the hardest part of this project was iteratively adjusting the numbers for the monster stats to make the difficulty curve feel challenging, but not too hard. Spending a decent chunk of time on planning really helped me sort out which monster parts should make which pieces of gear, and how the player could progress non-linearly, but I don't think any amount of preparation would have helped me make the damage scaling work well. It's just something I really had to feel out in the tools and during playtesting. I had a decent progression planned where weaker monsters in newer areas would be able to inflict you with status effects that the gear from the previous region could prevent, and that works decently enough, but I still think the individual damage and defense stats could do with a little bit more tuning for my liking. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with the latest version of the demo that I sneakily tossed a bit more time into. In terms of the scope, having only one weapon type really helped me focus, but I'd enjoy trying out making others. I do like that there are no NPCs besides Pup, and there's no store or currency even. You just make stuff from what you find by yourself. Gives it a more survival feeling, I think. I did have to cut quite a bit of the typical monster hunting feature set to make the deadline though. For example, I can envision ways to make different monster parts do different things and have tail cutting or horn breaking and all that jazz, but there was just no way I could have added it in time with my current knowledge and efficiency with the RPG Maker engine. I also wanted to add some form of fishing, cooking, and bug catching, and the animations and sound effects are quite sparse as well. All that being said, I'd love to expand on this when I have some time, but for now, feel free to try the demo for yourself and let me know what's missing or what you'd like to see more of. I'll put the link in the description. If you're interested in talking about game design or want to follow the progress of stuff I'm making, hit the subscribe button or join the Discord I've linked in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, y'all.